Okay, good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'll be your speaker for today. So, in case you do not know me yet, my name is Peter Legaspi, and I'm from South UD. I'm also a CWA staffer, and I'm serving here in Manila. Okay, so I'm excited to give this talk, but at the same time, I know that this is an important talk because, as mentioned by Raul last week, so after this talk, all of you will pray about making what we call the formation commitment. And this is the first time that we will do that. So I've decided that since this will be the talk that will discuss, most of it are practical or some of the concrete things that we do in community that will help us achieve, getting formation and being formed by the Lord. So I'll just try to go through it as quickly as possible, and we will have some time of question and answer. So rather than me giving some more examples, because just to let you know that the outline for this talk is it has 13 pages. So, and when I took my FC1, when I was back many years ago, we had a speaker, and he ended up just reading the outlines, and I was just sleeping like 3/4 of the talk, and I don't want that to happen to you. Okay, so those of you who missed the last session and didn't have a chance yet to take the makeup talks, so I will encourage you to do so. Last week, Raul talked about the importance of the formation program that we do here in Ligaya, and what does it mean to be formed. So today, as mentioned, we'll talk about the elements of this formation program. And the focus of this talk will be two things. One is we will talk about what does it mean to have a men's and women's group. Okay, many of you, you know that already. You've heard that from your parents, especially those of you who grew up in community. And then the next focus of this talk is what is the role and what's our relationship with our pastoral leaders. Okay, and then I will end the talk by sharing with you what does it entail to make a formation commitment. Okay, so before we start talking about those things, let me just share with you the different meetings that we do in Ligaya. And many of you are familiar with this. So we have 4 meetings in Ligaya, one of which is the men's and women's group. But I like to discuss briefly what we call the community meetings. So here in Ligaya, we meet, we have community-wide events. It means that everybody in Ligaya, we gather in one venue. And, we have a gathering, we have a prayer meeting. So, normally, these are the special events. Like, for example, our anniversaries, or the Feast of the Covenant, every September, Christmas Vigil and Triduum, and then Community Conference. As far as I know, these are the regular community-wide events. Okay, this is a time when you see all your friends across sectors. Okay, another meeting is what we call the sectoral assemblies. Sector assemblies, Ligaya is divided into 4 sectors. So we have North Sector 1, North Sector 2, Central Sector, and South Sector. So for the most part, it's actually geographical. So if you live in the South, you are probably part of the South Sector. Although, because of relationships, sometimes you are from the South, but you decide to join the North Sector. That's fine. Sector assemblies normally meet once a month. Okay, so on the average, for those of you who have not attended any sectoral assemblies, Normally, about between 400 to 600 people attend sectoral assembly. So, depending on the size of the sector. Normally, it's a prayer meeting with mass. Okay, and then of course, the district gatherings. District gatherings, each sector is subdivided into several districts. So, University District, which we are all part of, we have one North UD or University District in North Sector. So, North Sector 1 and North Sector 2 share in one University District, and then Central Sector has one UD and South Sector has one UD. Okay, so these are the community meetings. And why is this important for us? This is where we can learn how to be part of God's people. Now, this is where you get to know your brothers and sisters. You worship with them. You hear what's happening in their lives, through the sharings that you hear. You have an opportunity to serve, in the assemblies. So, of course, for many of you, probably, for the most part, you just attend these assemblies. Sometimes, actually, you might decide you just stay outside because, the talk is too long, So, and that's fine, But at a certain point, these assemblies will be very helpful for us. Okay. Then we have the fourth one, which is the men's and women's group meetings. Okay, so that's my current men's group right now. So you saw, unfortunately Joel was not there yet. So, but you saw Raf and the other brothers there, Carlo and Jigs are here. So, and then this is from Jonah's group in the north. Okay, so each district, you have several men's and women's group. And this is what I will focus on and try to explain why we have men's and women's group. I like to begin by giving an analogy. A community like ours is like a human body. Okay? Sino dito ang nag-aaral ng pre-med courses? Meron ba? Okay, so those of you who are studying to become doctors or medical related, I'm sure you know this already. Okay. In a human body, there are many cells. In fact, sabi nila, there are trillions of cells in our human body. And these cells, they come in all shapes and sizes. And these tiny structures, so I think you can only see them in the microscope. They are the basic unit of a human body. And what happens is that this group of these cells, they actually form a group among themselves, and they work together to form what we call tissues. Okay. Now, once they form a tissue, what happens is these tissues will start forming another group. And then, when they work together, they become an organ. Okay? Now, when they become an organ, they will again work together, and they will create organ systems. And then, these organ systems, they are the ones who keep our body to function as one unit. Cells of the body depend on one another to keep the body functioning as one unit. So you see there that there are brain cells, liver cells, blood cells, and many more cells in our body. Now, in our community, it's very similar in terms of how we are trying to live our lives with each other. So think about yourself as a cell, okay, in a body. And then our men's and women's group, so this is the tissue. So you can say you are part of a community tissue. Kaya hindi maganda pakinggan, ano? So, and then once we are part of a men's and women's group, this men's and women's group comprise a district. And each district comprise a sector, and that's the organ system. And the sector and the whole community is comprised of different sectors, and that is like the body. So this is like an analogy for you to understand and appreciate, okay, why what is the role of the men's and women's group in the overall community structure and our life together? Okay, men's and women's group, they are very much similar to ASTI groups. Okay, those of you came from YA, from Young Adults. Saan ba kayo? Those who came from Young Adults, you had ASTI groups before? Meron ba? Natawa si Kamel, ha? Okay, so I hope you had good memories, okay? Similar to action groups from of CYA. So, those of us who started in an action group in CYA, and also similar to your current groups for many of you who are part of the UD affiliates group in your district. Similar but not exactly the same. Okay? Because now that you are beginning to enter into a men's and women's group, there are more to come. There are more to expect. Okay. So, what are the similarities? Well, it's still the same with action group or ASTI group in such a way that this is a small group of people, of brothers or sisters, and you're trying to help and support each other to live the Christian life. But now that we are part of this men's and women's group, the group meeting is actually very important now. Why? Because, in our modern society, if you don't meet together, you really cannot say that you are a group. Diba? So, we become a group once there is an interaction. So, and how can you interact with each other if you are not meeting together? What we normally say is, a men's and women's group should meet at least twice a month. Ideally, every week. Yun talaga yung ideal. So, but at the very least, twice a month. So, imagine if you bumaba ka pa ng lower, once a month na lang. Tapos na taon, may exams ka, nag-absent ka. So, imagine, you won't see your men's and women's group for 2 months kasi nag-miss ka ng 1 month. So, that's one reason why at least sana 2 beses. So, okay. In a men's and women's group, this is also where we can start learning how to take personal responsibility for others. I remember when, in my last year in college, I was, part already of some kind of a men's group, but we are not yet fully a men's group. There's one brother in our group na he got sprained while playing basketball. And medyo malala yung spray niya, Talagang sobrang maganong paa niya. And he really could not walk without, actually, I think at the beginning, nag-wheelchair pa siya sa sobrang sakit ng niya. So one time, one afternoon, I got a call from this brother and sabi niya, kailangan ko ng check-up ngayon, bro. Walang tao dito sa bahay. Sabi ko, o sige, free naman ako. So, samahan kita, sunduin kita, punta tayo sa clinic. He lives near UST and then we're going to UST hospital. And during that time, I was in a dorm. So, punta ko sa bahay, tinitingnan ko siya, okay, paano tayo pupunta ng UST? Mas wala naman ako sasakyan. So, and then from his place, wala naman dumadaang jeep. So, isip ako, sabi ko, hirap naman ito. So what I ended up doing, to cut the long story short, nagkumontrata ako ng trike. Hindi alam niyo yung trike, yung bisikleta na may sidecar. Sabi ko, Manong, baka pwedeng sakay niyo yung kaibigan ko kasi meron siyang spring eh. Tapos, saan tayo pupunta? Sa loob po ng UST. Sigurado ka, pwede ba yun? Kasi kawawa naman yung friend ko pag bumaba pa siya. So to cut the long story short, tumawid kami ng Lacson ng Espanya, naka-trike, So, tapos pinagtitingin na kami ng tao. Kasi kami lang yung trike, bawal yung trike doon, And then we entered sa loob ng UST sa hospital. So, that was probably one of my unforgettable experience of taking personal responsibility with my brother. And during that time, I don't know, for some reason, when he called me, I know that, first and foremost is a brother in my men's group. and he needs my help. You know? So yeah, and it's very good. It's good in our life together because all of us would need some help at one point in our life. So aside from that, this is also a place wherein we can be supported. Christian life is not easy to live out. And in fact, if sabi nga nila, you cannot be a Christian on your own. So you need to have a group of people who can support you in your Christian life. And by saying that is, now that we know that it's hard to live a Christian life, so you know that you will need a support. That's why you are part of a group. But also, you know that you are there to support your brothers and sisters. So it's a give and take support that you can learn by being part of a men's and women's group. Okay, what do we do in our men's group or women's group? Depending on your leader, so he or she will come up with a number of activities, that will be very helpful in your formation, in your training. So, but one of the big thing that we always do is what we call the personal sharing. And this is something that I really appreciate over time by being part of a men's group. What is happening in your life? I remember when I was new in a group, when we are beginning to have this sharing of life, I really did not know what to share. Because for me, I did not grow up, sharing that, especially with men, na normally mga barkada ko nung high school and even nung early college, when we are gathered, so either basketball, music, sometimes academics, yung mga pinag-uusapan namin. Meron pang iba pero hindi ko na sabihin sa inyo. No? So, pero personal sharing, medyo parang corny ba? Parang hindi yan pang guys. Ganyan yung dating sa akin noon, ano? But, I realize that this is very important because I myself have benefited a lot by when I started sharing and being open with my life. I realized that I can actually receive more, and the brothers in my group can actually help me live my life better. What are the things that you normally share? So one is you share what we call the high points or the blessings. What are the things that the Lord has done in your life? Di ba madalas tayong, pag nagkikwentuhan tayo, we talk about the president, what are the things that he has done? Or your teacher, our teacher earlier, she was so irritating, ganyan, no? So, or your friend, you talk about your friend, or an actor, an actress. We love to talk about people and what they're doing. But here, we want to emphasize talking about what God is doing in your life. And how do you experience God in your life? You also talk about some of the challenges and low points that you are experiencing. As mentioned, we undergo a lot of challenges. The benefit of sharing it in a small group is you will be surprised that the people in your small group, oftentimes they have the same experience. And some of them actually overcome the same struggles that you have. So they can actually share what they did. Not to mention that you have a pastoral leader who can actually help you. In my experience of handling a group, normally nag-warm up . So, if you're familiar with vehicles, some of the groups, parang gasoline yan. So, dalawang meetings, medyo komportable na kami sa isa't isa mag-share. Some of the groups that I handled in the past, parang diesel. It takes some months bago mag-warm up and maging open sa isa't isa. So, naalala ko just to give an example with my current men's group, during our first year, 1 hour pa lang, tapos na kami. Nakapagdasal na yan, nakapag-sharing na yan. So, pinag-uusapan na computer games. So, but now, so 1 hour is still not enough for us to actually talk about our life together, our life with each other. So, personal sharing, this is one thing that you can learn and I encourage you to do in your men's and women's group. Okay, what's the composition of our men's and women's group? One is it's the same gender. Okay, so we do a lot of things in the community that as mixed groups. But here, for men's group or women's group, our leaders earlier realized that it's actually beneficial for us if we do it same gender. Why? Because it's easy to open, especially personal concerns. And sabi nga sa scriptures, an iron sharpens an iron, so that man sharpens man. So, and woman sharpens woman. So, and this is a formative group that we have in the university district. So, we want to help you to be formed to become the man and woman that God wants you to be. And the best people who can help you to be like that is actually men and women also who actually are ahead of you. So, that's why it's the same gender. Now, a men's and women's group will not work if the members don't have the same commitment. So, ibig sabihin, if you are part of a men's group, at least there is an understanding that you are committing yourself into the same way of life. Or at least you are committed to do things together, to be there for one another, and to learn together. So, if walang commitment, then mahirap, malamang laging one-to-one lang yung PN mo, tsaka baka isang member lang. So, that's why this is very important. So, these are the two things that we try to consider in forming men's and women's group. Same gender and same commitment. And of course, it's led by a pastoral leader. A pastoral leader is normally an older person who can actually help you in your current situation. We will discuss more of that later. Okay, now, what are the keys to make them work well? Okay. Meron ba dito na hindi pa naging part ng small group? Can you raise your hands? Meron ba? Okay, lahat tayo naging part na ng small group, tama ba? Okay. So what I want you to do right now is I'll give you 5 minutes. I want you to actually turn to your partner, and 2 minutes each, try to tell your partner, share to your partner, what are the benefits or what are the things that you like about either your current small group or your previous small group. So, pwede kayong mag-triad, pero partner or triad will work. So, I'll give you 5 minutes to discuss among yourself, and then I'll call some people to share, okay? Okay, maganda yung sinabi ni Kams, and I think I want to use that to actually share with you what are the keys in terms of making our men's and women's group work. And this time, I actually got some of your photos, so hopefully okay lang sa inyo. So, the first thing is the brother ni Alex. Sakto yung share natin, And actually, the examples that I will use is actually what she exactly shared, okay? In a men's and women's group, probably the most important thing is for us to learn how to love one another as brothers and sisters. And how do you do that? You do that by being there for your brother or sister during special occasions like birthdays, or not just victories, but also some time of limitations. Merong tinext ka ng isang ka-member mo, bumagsak siya sa isang exam, kailangan niya na makakasama. So those are the times that we need to be together. Praying for each other, that was mentioned. That's actually very important for us to express our love and care for each other. In the scripture it says, having purified your souls by your obedience to the truth, for a sincere love of the brethren. Love one another earnestly from the heart. I like to just emphasize that phrase, love one another earnestly from the heart. It's easy, it's easy if you are actually good friends already, right? So, magkasama na kayo, barkada na kayo since high school, you're very close with each other. This will be natural now. But some of us here, you will be placed in a group wherein you are new to the group or you don't know each other well yet. And this will be important because loving one another earnestly is a decision. It's something that you just don't do because you prefer to love the person, but it's actually a decision that you do because we know that this person is now our brother or is now our sister. The Lord brought this person to our community. And that's very important because similar to like a family, you did not choose your siblings. You just grew up knowing that Noel 1 is your brother, or Franco is your brother. So hindi natin pinili yun, di ba? But pwede rin, no? But we learn to love our brothers and sisters, our siblings, because we live with them. Now, similarly, in our men's and women's group, ganyan yan, no? You will be journeying together in this Christian life. And this will be the brothers and sisters that you will know more, that they will be the ones to support you. So, from the start pa lang, decide, love one another earnestly from the heart. The next important thing is faithfulness to the meeting, which was mentioned by Rafa. So, kinuha ko ng picture na to kasi balita ko lagi daw complete attendance yung group niya. Okay, again, another scripture passage. Can we read this together? 1, 2, 3. What I like to highlight here is encouraging one another, not to neglect to meet together. It's easy to meet together or to attend your men's and women's group pag walang masyadong ginagawa sa school, pag malapit lang yung venue, pagka manunod kayo ng movie or mag-fellowship. Pero pag Bible study daw yung event, oh my gosh, or dami pa akong exam, ito na lang weekend ang time ko mag-aral. So pagka may mga gano'n na tayong concerns, minsan na-challenge yung pag-attend natin sa meeting. Now it's very important for us to encourage each other. Hindi lang yung PL yung nag-encourage, but all of us. And I learned how to actually prioritize my men's group. So even kahit exams pa yung katapat, So what I remember what the brothers told me before is, kung alam mo may exam kang padating at alam mo mag-meeting tayo, dapat mag-aral ka in advance. And actually, I did that and I realized that it helped me actually to not cram and to actually develop a habit to actually be more diligent in my studies. And it brought fruits in my life. I did well in school, did not have any back subjects, and I was very thankful to my small group during that time. So faithfulness to attending the meeting is very important. Next. Sorry thinking, but I think this is so living in the light, okay? So you know what I like about your photo taking, sorry if you but what you declared in your sharing is standing firm with a steadfast God. What do we mean by living in the light? Okay. So, first of all, ang ibig sabihin nito is we actually open our lives with one another. And it's very important because in the scripture it says, everyone who does evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. But he who does what is true comes to the light, that it may be clearly seen that his deeds have been wrought in God. Let's admit it. All of us here, we have our own, coming from the conference, respectable sins. We have our own challenges and temptations in life. And the strategy of Satan is actually to tell you, Franco, huwag mong sasabihin sa kahit kaninong ginagawa mo yan. Kasi nakakahiya eh. Tsaka pag walang nakakaalam, okay lang, tuloy lang. So, in the moment you expose that, you actually share to your leader, to your men's group and say, brothers, actually, I failed to, I cheated in our last exam. The moment you did that, it's already the beginning of your victory in overcoming that sin. Because it means that you're trying to repent from it and share. And the reason why you're sharing it, so that the brothers can minister to you, pray for you, and help you and make you accountable. So that's the wisdom of why it's important for us to share in the light. I have men's group members before na mag-share sila pag Kuya Peter, pasensya na, pero meron akong very stupid thing na ginawa. And sabi ko, ba't hindi mo lang na-share? Pero okay na ngayon eh, tapos na kasi ganito na ginawa ko na ganyan. So, kailan ba yan nagsimula? Actually, last year pa. So, parang hindi niya share, so last year, it has been going on. Pero, kung share mo na agad, baka hindi lumala, hindi umabot sa ganung stage. And huwag tayong mahiya to actually share our weaknesses and struggles because all of us do have limitations, weaknesses, and sins. So, pagka meron kayong mga challenges in life na tingin nyo masyadong personal to share in your men's group, you just talk to your pastoral leader one-on-one. Or maybe to your coordinator or senior woman leader if you prefer to do that. But we do that. We also do that. You don't have to share everything in the men's and women's group. So sometimes, if you prefer, you just share it with your pastoral leader. Okay, another thing is confidentiality. So, nahirapan ako kumuha ng picture dito eh. So, I don't know how to describe it. So, but I chose my men's group member over there. So, because in our last one-to-one, yung sinabi niya sa akin, Kuya Peter, this is confidential. So, okay. I remember that. So, Proverbs says, he who goes about gossiping reveals secrets. Therefore, do not associate with one who speaks foolishly. Okay, in our men's and women's group, you can be assured that we practice confidentiality. So meaning, what you share there should not, go out of the room anymore. So, huwag kayong pupunta ng men's group tapos pag narinig nyo yung isang brother pala, shinare niya sa inyo na nag-cheat siya, paglabas niya, i-announce mo sa ibang brothers and sisters, si Marco nag-cheat, so, diba? So, hindi yan maganda, di ba? So, we don't want to be associated with people who gossips, all the more that we don't want to gossip. Okay? We don't want to do that with our brothers, especially with our brothers and sisters. Okay. Now, by saying that, if you have particular and very important concerns, it can be brought up to the attention of the coordinator because our pastoral leaders are actually an extension of the coordinator. And if you're a sister, to the senior woman leader, it will also be brought up. And the reason for that is you are assured that your pastoral leader is not alone in helping you. Hindi siya yung parang nakadepende lang sa pastoral leader. It's actually the community through your pastoral leader and your coordinator, senior woman leader, is trying to help you address your concern. But other than that, it's not being discussed at all. So, and lastly is mutual accountability. Okay, so Okay, so what does it mean to have mutual accountability? So it means that we take responsibility to actually help and support each other. So for example, si Camille, sabi niya kay Cecil, Cecil, from now on, I will not miss any women's group meeting unless it's really a very valid reason. So ngayon si Cecil, pag narinig niya na si Camille daw, hindi siya nag-women's group kasi nanood ng movie. So, ang mutual accountability, is to say that Cecil would ask question to Camille, Kams, balita ko, nanood ka lang daw ng movie, nag-women's group kami. Ano ba nangyari? And for Camille, it means that, nga, Cecil, forgive me, I will ask forgiveness sa women's group kasi I opted to prioritize watching a movie. So something like that is mutual accountability. So all of us, all of you will have a responsibility to make one another accountable to our decisions. We do not make plans like a worldly person ready to say yes and no at once. So ibig sabihin, as a Christian, if we say yes to doing something, our action should reflect that yes. Hindi yung nag-yes ka pero hindi mo pala ginawa. Okay? Okay, now we move very quickly to the pastoral leaders. So, my apology, anim lang ng PL yung nailagay ko dyan. So, two per district lang. Okay, what is the role of your pastoral leaders? Okay, so, I like to start by telling you what are they not. Okay? So, they are not a guru, okay, who will form you in his or her personal approach to life and spirituality. So, your PL is not someone that, PL ko si Ate Jem, kailangan kasing galing niya na ako kumanta, no? Kailangan the way I speak is now the way she speaks, you know? Or, nako, PL ko si Kuya JP, hindi kasi gumagamit ng, wala na ako na example. Okay, so example, si JP. Si JP hindi kumakain niya ng chippy, ayoko rin ng chippy. Hindi mo mga ganon. Hindi ganon ang relationship natin sa PL natin. No? So they will not form you and tell you, these are the things that you should do and not to do, no? Based on his personal approach in life. Another thing is, they are not the one to tell you how to live your life. Primarily, it will be God who will tell you how to live your life. And your PL's role is to help you, connect you with God, that you are in a place that you can hear God, so that you will be able to know how to live your life well. And your PL is there to guide you and tell you when he thinks or she thinks you're not doing what you're supposed to do or not, to help you achieve that. And last is, your PL is not the one to solve all your problems or tell you how to get out from all of them. So, in short, they're not superheroes that whatever you ask from them, they should be able to provide from you, or they should be able to solve all kinds of your problems. They will definitely be there with you, do that for you, but they also have their own limitations. They have their concerns in life. So, you think about your current leaders now and say, these people are not, paid to doing this. They're just, putting this in their schedule out of their love for the Lord, out of their love for you. So, they also don't have all the time in the world to actually address all our concerns. So then, what should you expect from your pastoral leader? Okay? Here are the things. I tried to just make up bullet points. Number one, they are the ones to lead the men's group and women's group meetings. Okay? I think that's very straightforward. Second, they should schedule meetings at least twice a month. They will do their best to cater for your special needs. So, I remember one time nakasalubong ko yung PL ko sa campus. Nakita niya yata parang anxious ako. So sabi niya, Peter, ano problema mo? Sabi ko, bro, I'm looking for this book. And I cannot find it. Sabi nung prof, pag wala nitong book na to, you cannot go to class sa susunod. So, and you know, I really didn't have it. I just mentioned it to him, then naghiwalay kami. That same evening, he knocked on my apartment and then said, "Bro, I got your book." And I was really surprised. Paano mo nakuha yan, bro? Kasi I ended up having a fellowship with some brothers and sisters. And then, I asked them if they know someone who has the book. And lo and behold, one of them, her brother actually has the book. And then, he got it from the place and then he brought it to my home. So, sometimes may mga needs tayo and you will experience that from your PL. They will help you with the formation process. So, yung mga naririnig natin sa foundations courses, if you need some explaining, you know, if you don't understand, they are there to help you. So, they will explain things to you. So, they will give personal input. No? So, and that's a blessing, you know, for someone to give you personal input. Last but not the least, they will schedule one-on-one meetings with you. So, huwag kayong mabigla, no? Pagka schedule kayo ng one-on-one. Parang, naku, may kasalanan yata ako. No? So, hindi lang pag may kasalanan na go one-on-one. No? It's a normal thing for us as a member and a PL. No? So, we do that. Okay. We're about to close. I just want to say something about receiving personal input. So, when we receive an input from our PL, so, it doesn't mean that you have to take it because we cannot force you if you don't want to. But there is no such thing as blind obedience here in the community. But what you can do, if you think you are not agreeing with your PL, the best response is to ask questions. Sometimes baka hindi lang na-explain ng PL and say, PL, can you explain? Parang hindi ko maintindihan yung sinabi mo. And I assure you na at the end, your PL will not give you a personal input na hindi makakabuti sa iyo. So, but it's not like sinabi ng PL ko, gawin ko to napipilitan ako pero ginagawa ko. And then pagka may nangyari sa iyo, sinisisi mo yung PL mo. So, hindi ganon. No? So, we want a relationship that is open and, you know, you are free to your PL to say, but PL, ito yung nararamdaman ko ito yung hindi ko pa masyadong mag-grasp yung sinasabi mo. And your PL will help you along the way. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. All of us, I'm sure, want to be a wise man or wise woman. So, we should be open to advice. Do not reprove a scoffer or he will hate you. Reprove a wise man and he will love you. So, your PL, so, as wise as they are, so they love you. You know? So, and sometimes, you know, they give an advice. Ako na, based on my personal experience, I gave an advice and I felt it was not well appreciated. But, you know, I know that that advice is out of love. So, I just say, okay, so maybe I just need to be patient with my member. So, I've been a PL since 2002. So, medyo matagal na, no? I've handled a lot of guys already. And tell you, all kinds of problems siguro ng guys na experience ko na. No? So, na at least ng students. So yeah, and it's not easy to give correction, for example. That's the least of the PL's responsibility that I like to do. But it's very helpful for a PL if his or her member is actually very open to correction. Because in the community, correction is an expression of love. So, matakot kayo pag walang nagko-correct sa inyo. Yung PL nyo, hindi kayo kinokorek. Pero don't also think na puro correction na matatanggap nyo sa PL nyo. No? So, very seldom lang yan, maniwala kayo. So, lastly, what I want to say is, let's try to respect and love our pastoral leaders. Mahirap sabihin sa akin ito kasi I have members here. But, again, as I tell you, as I told you kanina, your PLs are not paid for this. They are just making this as a service to the Lord and a service to you. And I've been to many pastoral leaders meeting. And alam mo yung mga PL, mababaw lang kaligayahan yan eh. Pag nakita nila nagre-respond kayo sa Panginoon, tuwan-tuwa na yung mga PLs. So pag nakita nila na you're doing well in your studies, so yan ang mga maririnig mong pinapamalita nila sa PLs. Uy, proud ako sa member ko, kay Jag, he's really, again, an honor student. So, yung mga ganon. And makita mo yung sincerity and love ng mga PLs sa mga members nila. So hopefully tayo din as members, we actually do that also to them. So, but we beseech you, brethren, to respect those who labor among you and are over you in the Lord and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love because of their work. Be at peace among yourselves. Okay, to end, what I would like to do, now that we are finished with the Unit 1, I will actually just share with you what does entail to make a formation commitment. Kasi nga medyo mahaba, no? Okay. Nababasa niyo ba sa likod? Sige, I'll just recite it. So, as mentioned, after this talk, shortly after this talk, you will have some time to talk to your PL one-on-one or to your discussion with PL one-on-one. And what you will discuss is are things that maybe, if you have questions that you want to ask them, go ahead. But the main thing would be the formation commitment. So your PL will ask you, are you willing to make a formation commitment? So what does it mean to make a formation commitment? Number one, you will commit to attending men's and women's group meeting when it meets. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na hindi ka na pwede mag-miss. Parang sama mong tao pagka may absent ka. Pero ang ibig sabihin is you will make this as a priority in your schedule. Napagkala mong men's and women's group is a top priority. And you will miss that if there is another important thing and you tell your PL, we're gonna be going, we have a family out of town so I will have to miss our women's group. Normally it's okay. Continue taking the formation courses when they are offered. So after this, so you will be asked, if you think that you are not ready, let's say after hearing the first 3 talks, Kuya Peter, bigat pala dyan eh. Parang di pa ako ready. Normally your PL will ask you bakit. So, and depending on your reason, your PL and you agree na, parang hindi ka pa ready, we will not force you. Because maybe, it's not helpful for you to be here right now. So you can stop attending at least for this time. Hopefully, we see you next year. But hopefully, ang encouragement ko is hopefully kung wala naman serious reason, that you guys will all continue attending Foundations Course 1. So, but that's another commitment is you will continue attending Foundations Course. And then another one is meet with your pastoral leader regularly. And then attend gatherings of the district to which you belong. So, yun yung commitment. No? So, pag may UD gathering, that's once a month, you actually attend to that. Contribute financially to the community. So, most of you here are students. So, kahit magkano amount lang, no? Kung gusto nyo nang i-practice yung 10% ng allowance nyo kung kaya, that would be good. Pero hindi yun required. Whatever you can give. The most important thing here is to develop a habit of giving. Then do some service for the community. So, for those of you who are in CYA, you're actively serving, that counts. So, but if you think, wala pa akong ginagawa to serve God, talk to your leader. No? Para this is a great opportunity for you to be involved in any of the services. Last but not the least, take a time for daily prayer and scripture reading or study and attend church regularly. So again, of course, very important, our personal relationship with God. So what will you commit yourself to? So sasabihin nyo lang, simple ito. Can we read this together? 1, 2, 3.
I would like to be part of the next formation program, and I will do all of the
Okay na, sinabi nyo na. Tapos na yung formation program. Joke lang, no? So, very simple commitment. And again, these are the things that entails the formation commitment. Okay, before we break into our message women's group or discussion groups for you to arrange the one-on-ones, are there questions that you want to ask here? Meron ba na parang you want to clarify lang? Yes, Jen.